So in this time of uncertainty, not confusion, just uncertainty, there's another statement to be made. Now, there's no doubt that we know the word Bhakti, but the real meaning of Bhakti is participation in, dedication and devotion to, and love for any endeavor, not love and devotion to a guru, a god, a religion, a calling, a cause, but love and devotion to any endeavor. So there's that story about the great saint Narada, who was a devotee of the god Vishnu. And very often in his meditations he was able to go up into the celestial realms to convene with Vishnu. But there was a time when Narada was on a pilgrimage, and he happened to stop at a village and get into conversation with a merchant there. And having this affable conversation, after which the merchant invited Narada back to his house for a meal. So when they went back to the house, the merchant's wife made a very delicious repast for them. But after the meal, Narada said to the merchant, "This meal is no doubt very delicious, but instead of feeling joy and satisfaction after partaking of it, I feel sad. What is this sadness?" And the merchant said, "There's no doubt that you're a very perceptive man. Our sadness is that my wife and I have been married for many, many years, and we have not begotten a child. We've prayed and done all the rituals of our faith, but to no avail." So Narada, with his vast knowledge, said, "Do you have your horoscopes?" So they bought horoscopes that they had cast, and Narada perused them. Then he asked to look at their palms, and he said, yes, it is so. According to your horoscope and your destiny, it is not your karma to have a child. Now, the merchant was very, very sad to hear this, but Narada went on his way, but it bothered him, it perplexed him. So the next opportunity he had, he sat down under a tree, went into meditation, went up to the celestial realms, where he found Vishnu. And he told Vishnu of his encounter with the merchant, and said to Vishnu, "Vishnu, why can you not do something about this? Why can this couple not have the children that they so longed for?" And Vishnu said, "You know well, Narada, the laws of karma, and when it is not in their destiny for it to occur, cannot occur." Now, Narada was very sad about this, but he left and continued on with his pilgrimage. But some time later, he happened to be going the same way and encountered the same merchant. And the merchant again invited him back to his house for a repast. But when they approached the house, there in the garden were 3 children. And Narada said, "Whose children are these?" And the merchant, beaming with happiness, said, "They are our children. Not long after you left us, an old hermit came by, and he cried as he walked down the streets, 'One loaf of bread given to this old man will beget one child. 2 loaves of bread will beget 2, and 3 loaves will beget 3. So even though, as the merchant related, we knew that it was not our destiny to have children, we gave the old hermit the 3 loaves of bread, and now we have these 3 beautiful children." Narada was very, very, very perplexed by this. So, of course, he took the first opportunity to again go to the celestial realms to convene with Vishnu. And Vishnu said, "Yes, yes, yes, but your mind is too agitated at the moment for me to give you the answer. Let's go for a walk in creation." So Vishnu and Narada descended to the earthly realms and were walking down the street of a certain town, when all of a sudden Vishnu fell to the ground and grasped his side and said, "I'm dying, I need a new liver. Someone has given me some rancid food. Quickly, Narada." So immediately Narada ran off, and there was a temple nearby where people were going about their devotion. So he ran into the temple. He said, "Quickly, quickly, is anyone willing to give their liver, because Vishnu is dying?" And they all looked at him and just laughed and went on with their devotions and their chanting and so forth. So quickly Narada ran down by the riverside, and there were a group of fishermen there, and he said, "Quickly, quickly, Vishnu is dying. Who will give their liver to save Vishnu's life?" And all fishermen just laughed at him and said, "None of us, but maybe that fellow over there might." So there, standing in the water on one leg, was an old hermit. So Narada went up to him and said, "Vishnu is dying and he needs a liver quickly." So the old hermit lowered his leg to the ground and opened his eyes and said, "Come." And the old hermit led Narada into his hut that was nearby, and he took out a sharp knife and he sat down cross-legged on the floor and drove his knife into his belly, opened it up with blood pouring down his calves and his leg, and took out his liver and handed it to Narada and said, "Here, this is for the god, for Vishnu." The old hermit, with blood pouring out, just closed his eyes and went into deep meditation. And so Narada, carrying liver back to Vishnu, who happened to be miraculously recovered because he was sitting there looking quite happy, but Narada handed him the liver and said that this had been given by the hermit who was found down by the riverside. And then Vishnu looked at Narada and said, "But you have a liver." Narada was very abashed. He said, "Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I never thought." And Vishnu said, "Narada, no doubt you are a great devotee of mine, but your intelligence and your knowledge preclude you from being the crazy Bhakti, the hermit who gave his liver, is the same hermit who gave the merchant his 3 children. Narada, when a Bhakti speaks, the gods are duty-bound to obey. Divine madness, the Bhakti who has no thought for a self, a body. The meaning of Bhakti, participation in, dedication and devotion to, and love for any endeavor. What does it mean for us?